tornado, Tom, but again, the warning will continue based on the observation of funnel clouds and also large inflow, as you said, 40 miles per hour inflow. Folks in Pontotoc County, we're watching a storm in your neighborhood as well. Ada and on back to the northwest of there, Bing, and up into Oil Center, Maxwell. Stratford had confirmed ping pong ball size hail. Now, let's find out if our storm chaser Chad Vandiver is available. We can jump over to him and see a little more about what he is seeing out there in the field on this Johnston County storm. Chad, can you hear us?
Hi, Steve. We are just west of Ravia right now on Highway 1. Looking back to the north here, we do have a very low wall cloud. It does appear that something to be rotating. This thing has been cycling back and forth. It was strengthened, and it'll weaken and reorganize. Right at this moment, though, it does not appear. Hang on just a moment. We do have an appendage hanging down from this wall cloud, Steve. It doesn't look like it's on the ground, though. It's about halfway down from the base of the wall cloud.
Okay. Tell me now, in relationship to Ravia, you're 1 mile west. Is that correct?
We're probably about 4 to 5 miles west of Ravia on Highway 1 right now. And it's kind of hard to see, but on our live stream there, you can see an area of rotation just in front of us. We've got a rapidly rotating wall cloud right now. We do have some feeder bands coming into from the east side of the wall cloud.
Okay.
But at this time, nothing appears to be down.
And Chad, you're located on 1, or are you on 177?
Highway 1. If you go out of Ravia to the west towards Mansville, I'm about 4 miles west of Ravia on 1.
And so, Chad, have you got some strong winds at where you're at, inflow winds?
Actually, right now the wind is just almost dead. It's almost dead still right now.
Okay, so Chad, you're right near that big curve on Highway 1 where it turns to the south then?
Yes.
Okay, so folks, this is 3 miles west of Ravia, approximately, is where Chad is located, and I'm going to mark that right here with the distance measurement. He says a rapidly rotating wall cloud right about here, and this is moving what direction, Chad? Is this a wall cloud on the north side of the highway in relation to you? Where is that wall cloud in relation to Ravia at this time?
It's going to be north, maybe just northeast of Ravia. It's probably about 8 or 9 miles from our location right now, but we have a very good view of it from our location. Still appears to be rotating as we speak. Steve, back to you.
Okay, so would you say then that it's already past Ravia? It's going to be on the other side, moving away from the city?
Yes, that is correct. Looks like it's going to be going north of Tishomingo.
Mm-hmm.
So if you live north of Tishomingo, you definitely want to take your precautions now in the area of like maybe Highway 99 and then points east on up towards maybe Connerville and Bromide eventually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you are south of Reagan on 7 or you are on 377, this is a time for you to go into your safe place again. Safe place is a place where, bottom line, you put as many walls between you and the outside of your house, and especially the outside of the southwestern portion of your house, because that's the direction that this circulation is coming from. Again, we do not have a confirmation of a tornado on the ground. We do not have a confirmation of a funnel cloud at this point, but we do have a lot of eyes on this particular storm.
Okay, on the screen I have put there for folks in Ravia and Tishomingo, this storm has already passed to your north and northeast, so you had a close call there, but it looks like that threat zone is off to your northeast now, and as Chad said, he can see a well-developed wall cloud. Reagan, this storm is going to come pretty close to you. You'll probably stay on the hail side of things, but we're looking at the most dangerous part of the storm to be in here, so passing probably to your south by a couple of miles and moving in the general direction, as Chad said, of Connerville and Bromide. Up here you can see Bromide on the screen as it tracks really right toward this area at about 30 miles per hour to the east and northeast. And we're very concerned about this being a storm that has been strengthening. Again, at the very moment that we're talking to you, no reports of it on the ground, but we do have a strong indication of rotation. And this storm has visually been producing wall clouds. Storm chaser Chad Vandiver on the air with us now and says, hey, we've got a wall cloud there, a pretty good one, located to the northeast of Ravia, our friends in Ravi, it looks like you're going to be okay. And this particular storm, at least, is passing off to your north, and we're looking for the velocity indications. Normally, you want to get it up around 70 or 80 miles per hour before you would have a real concern about a tornado. We're not seeing anything like that right now, but this storm has been cycling where it'll strengthen and weaken, and so forth. And so we're definitely not going to be losing interest in this storm anytime soon. We do have also a very intense thunderstorm producing damaging hail in northern Pontotoc County. It looks like just north of Ada on up toward Bing, and you can see some cores indicated here by the dark red. They're probably producing some big hail here crossing the river and leaving Pontotoc County. Very heavy rainfall, and had lightning turned off on purpose so you can see the storm structure. But Tom, we're getting a lot of lightning on these storms, especially on the Tornadic storm in Johnston County. If you see lightning like that concentrated, that's another indication of a very intense thunderstorm, and the maximum lightning output is right around that hook echo, which is indicated. I'm going to stop the rotation here, right in here. So folks, southwest of Bromide, on up toward Wapanucka, need to be taking cover at this time, Tom.
Yeah, the storm to the north in Pontotoc, you could see a moment ago the entire storm was rotating. It was the whole storm had a nice solid rotation to it. And obviously there's tremendous amount of updraft in that particular storm to the north. Again, if you are in Bromide, you should be taking cover at this point. If you are, oh, look at that. Is that an echo top you just brought up?
Yes, on this tornadic storm from Johnston County, with the worst of the storm located, it looks like northeast of Ravia, southwest of Bromide. We've got a top of 56,000 feet. What that tells you is tremendous updraft, and then with the rotation involved in that as well, it's a very healthy storm. It certainly has the capability of producing some very large hail in addition to the tornadic portion of the storm, which again, we haven't had a report of a tornado on the ground yet. But it's right on the threshold of this happening. What I'm going to put on the screen now, folks, is folks in Bromide and Wapanucka, please take cover. This storm is headed your direction, and it's doing so at about 30 miles per hour. So folks in this area, please take cover. As you can see, the storm is tracking directly in your direction. Nothing new from the National Weather Service.
No, but Steve, out in parts of Garvin County and out to the west in Stevens County, there is a storm on Max 2 that you're going to see that is another very strong storm, and we're starting to get reports out of that particular storm that there could be baseball-size hail from spotters that are on the ground with this particular storm. That I've got highlighted on Max 2. It's south of Marlow, north of Duncan and Bray. This storm is going to move its way off to the northeast toward Elmore City and Maysville. The reason I'm pointing this particular storm out is simply all of these storms have the capability of producing easy 2-inch hail or larger. And so whether it's a severe thunderstorm producing large hail in your area or whether it has a rotating wall cloud and we don't have a tornado with it, the short and sweet is that you're going to need to take cover when these storms start approaching your area. And don't go outside to watch it. Again, hail can turn over in literally seconds. Weather Service has now issued a severe thunderstorm warning until 9 o'clock for Atoka, Cole, and Johnston County. That would be the northeast portion of Johnston. That's part of this storm that would be moving off into Cole and Atoka counties. Again, this particular storm indicating that it could have hail up to 1.75, and of course that's golf ball size hail associated with this storm. And the storm for Stevens, they've just issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Stevens County, the storm that we're looking at here, Bray, and they are saying that this storm could have 2.75-inch hail, which basically we're talking about baseball size hail being reported in this storm. And along with it, there, just 2 miles east of Duncan toward Bray, you're looking at hail that's been reported already starting at golf ball size hail. That's only going to get bigger. We've got a report now, Steve, of rotation to the west of Ravia, moving off to the northeast. Jason Bryant is the emergency manager for Johnson County, who's got an eye on this storm. Steve?
Okay, well, that doesn't match up that well with our radar, but sometimes these things can be elongated. They can stream out of the base of the storm at an angle. So even though The storm is obviously to the east of Rabia now. There may be a rope-like appendage coming out to the west side of it. We have Jason Bryant there, the Emergency Management Coordinator in Johnston County, certainly a credible source of that.
Right. It may be somebody who's a spotter in touch with him in regards to that, and it really depends on what you're seeing, is knowing where you're located, because perspective, you could be looking at something and you may be 5 miles off to the east, and it's real hard to pinpoint that exact position. Severe thunderstorm warning for Murray County has now been canceled, as that storm has now moved its way off into Cole and Atoka. And as I said a second ago, Atoka and Cole counties, combining those two, a severe thunderstorm warning until 9 o'clock. And the severe thunderstorm warning for Johnson and Pontotoc is until 8:30, 60-mile-an-hour winds, and the hail size has come down on that one for the northern part of Johnson, southern part of Pontotoc, down to 1-inch hail. So that storm is starting to weaken. The northern storm, north of the one that we're looking at here, southwest of Colgate, heading toward Milburn, Fillmore, and Wapanaka.
Tom, I'm putting on the screen here the ETAs for the tornadic circulation. Now, again, there's been no report of an actual tornado in this storm, but folks in Johnston County, ETA for this dangerous core, which may contain a tornado or at least some very large hail and strong straight line winds. You can see if you're watching from Milburn, this thing is just about on top of you now. The core of the storm tracking a little bit to your north, though, about like this. So right toward Wapanaka and Bromide, really just south of Reagan at this time. I suspect in Reagan there's some large hail falling because you're on the north side of the circulation, where we've had reports from this core of hail to at least ping pong ball size, and hail to baseball size is possible in the storm. In fact, we're just getting an update now as I speak from the National Weather Service. Let me tell you about that. Tornado warning continues for central Johnston County. This tornado, potential tornado, okay, not confirmed, is located near Reagan. So I'm just saying right here, it's very close to Reagan, and it's moving to the east at northeast now. They changed the direction, northeast at 30 miles per hour, golf ball hail, and a possible tornado. Tornado's not been confirmed. If we have Chad Vandiver on the line in the back, guys, can we punch Chad up, see what he might be seeing and where he's at?
Right now, I am on the west side of Tishomingo, trying to get back out to the storm. We have a horde of traffic on this highway here. We have been able to see intermittently through the trees what appears to be an area of rotation back to the north of Tishomingo. It doesn't appear that it's highly organized at the moment, which is good. But still, if you live anywhere north and east of Tishomingo, north of Milburn, you need to be sure and take your precautions right now, not wait till the last moment.
You know, following up on that, taking precautions and being in your safe place. If you're in Pontotoc and you're located on 377, the town of Pontotoc, or the community, that hail core is just to the south of you. Bromide, it is just due to the east of you. And we've been looking at this, and I've been scoping it. I've gotten hen's egg size hail on here. So hen's egg size hail is basically 2-inch hail that's coming down from this storm. And so, again, while we have no reported circulation on the ground, what we do have is a very strong core. In fact, if you look at Max 2, I can show you the area that we're talking about here. This one section right here along 377, it has just moved its way across 377, and it's to the north of 7 between Pontotoc and Bromide. And this is the max core that we've got right in here, which we have seen 2-inch hail on Doppler radar indicated, but we've already got other storms out there that are forming in this particular atmosphere that have been putting down hail sizes up to tennis ball size hail. And so at this time, when hail starts coming, do not anticipate that it's going to be small hail. Large hail, gusty winds associated with this are going to be one of the main two things with this. So you need to take the same precautions that you normally would for a tornado. You want to get away from the windows. You want to get into a center section of your house. And if it were a tornado, you want to put as many walls between you and the outside. At the moment, we do not have a tornado on the ground, but we have a very strong circulation to the south and or to the east of Reagan at this time. And that's a long 7. moving its way through Johnson County.
Tom, let me take a look as we go back to Max 1 and show you the hail scope here. Again, we've had throughout the life of this storm history of it producing hail to at least tennis ball size, and now we can look inside here on the interpretive mode and see that indeed we are getting hail to about egg size. That's 2-inch diameter hail, and that's very consistent with what we've been seeing from ground truth reports. So large hail heading toward Colgate, probably coming through Wapanucka as well. Now, as far as the rotation on this storm, I'm going to zoom in real close here. We're still under a tornado warning for central Johnston County for about 15 more minutes till 8:30. At no time during this warning have we had an actual report of a tornado. Checking the velocity on here, it has picked up a little bit, but it's still considered pretty low. Normally you look for a 70 to 80 mile per hour velocity to really get a tight enough circulation to get a tornado. Now we are seeing again, it's been increasing a little bit. There's a 53, and this is located again just south of Reagan. That's where the most dangerous part of the storm is, and we're tracking it off to the northeast, east-northeast, about 35 miles per hour. So folks in Reagan, it looks like this core of the storm has already bypassed you to the south, just southeast of you, and moving up in this fashion like so. So this is where we're concerned about our friends in Bromide and Wapanucka. You're definitely under the gun for this circulation to pass into your area. And again, Tom, we've had no reports through the life of this, but okay, brand new report just coming in. Reagan reports a wall cloud south of town. That's consistent with what we've just been saying. There's a rotating updraft. Wall cloud is evidence of that, and it's located about here, and it's moving to the east-northeast or northeast about 35 miles per hour. So folks in Bromide and Wapanucka, Connerville, please remain in your place of safety until the storm passes. Even without a tornado, we're talking about violent straight-line winds, possibly to 70 miles per hour, and also baseball-sized hail. Now, there's another storm we're watching farther west, and I want to show you that because this one is heading into our viewing area as well. This storm here in Stevens County produced baseball hail a short time ago near Duncan. This storm is going to be tracking into, it looks like, Garvin County, but possibly eventually it could reach Pontotoc County with a due eastward movement at about 30 miles per hour. So, Tom, we've got a couple of nasty storms out there beyond the one that's in Johnston County. So we have this storm in Stevens County, keeping a watch on that for a little bit later on in the evening for Garvin and possibly Pontotoc. We have a thunderstorm over Pontotoc County. Now, here's some good news. This storm is definitely weakening. You see how it's become much more ragged in appearance. It's lost its core, and I think that one is definitely on the decreasing trend, whereas our Johnston County storm still has a real threat in there for large hail and a possible tornado. Ravia reports a wall cloud with rotation over the city of Ravia. So,
and Wapanucka reports a funnel near Dead Man Springs Road and Highway 7, which crosses Highway 7. And I can probably find Dead Man Springs here while I start moving around.
Here's
in the mapping.
Highway 7 right here. And logically, based on where the hook is, Tom, that's probably going to be down here somewhere in this area, just to the southeast of Reagan, which is where we do find a velocity couplet right here. It's not a real strong one. And we're seeing, again, these reports of rotation, so there's certainly enough in there to keep the alarm going. Well, again, this tornado warning will expire in about 8 minutes unless the National Weather Service chooses to extend it.
Dead Man Springs Road, by the way, is 2 years ago on May 9th is when we had a tornado come through there and actually cause loss of life. And so the folks in that neighborhood know what to do when it comes to taking cover at this point. If you are to the northeast of Ravia and you are anywhere in the area of right now, Wapanucka, Fillmore, I think it's a little bit south of you, but Bromide, it doesn't matter if there's a funnel in that particular area. What you're looking at right now in Bromide is some very, very large hail. And we also have a very low echo area. The low echo area is where we find the combination of the up and down draft, where we don't have any rain, and so we don't have an echo associated with that rain, but we do have the potential of having a tornado, and that now is to the east of 377, right along the bend, and just to the south of 7, and that is probably where we're seeing our potential tornadic circulation. In fact, I'm going to scope this. I don't see anything on our scope that
We'll back
shows
that up a bit, Tom. We're kind of tight there. We're backing it just a little bit, see if we can find anything at all in there. This warning will be allowed to expire in 6 minutes. Now, there's always the chance that they will renew the warning. Have not seen the evidence they're going to do that yet. We do have a new warning for Garvin County. That's the one that is based on the Stevens County storm I told you about a minute ago, where we have baseball hail being produced east of Duncan. They're saying on the National Weather Service Bulletin for this storm that we're looking at some golf ball hail to come into parts of Garvin County. This warning is going to be for western Garvin County. So folks out around Katy, where you had that big tornado last year, got some golf ball hail headed your way, and possibly some winds of 60 miles per hour. Let's go back to Max 1. Doppler 12 Live is updating in storm scan mode, if we can do that. And here we're watching this tornadic circulation that is of the main concern of all the storms we have right now. Fresh update here. Of course, we're looking at Reagan up here in the northwest part of the screen, the upper left. And here's the tornadic circulation located just to the east of that. It's west of Fillmore, and it looks like it's right in here based on the weak echo region. This little donut hole here is often an indication where the updraft is strongest, and that would be consistent with the idea that it's tracking toward Wapanucka and Bromide. Here on our Doppler 12 in storm scan mode, we can see that it is also, again, moving in the same direction. Looks like it's moving just about like this.